SimWorld Sports.
Good
Welcome,
evening, SimWorld. And I want to bring on my friend Marsh tonight to call this game between Chicago and Midwest. We are in the Sunset Shootout, coming to you from Los Angeles, the championship game. These two teams, for Chicago, a third attempt at a championship title. And for Midwest, they're first, but they're on a run, having won 5 in a row. I am Elava, and I've got with me tonight Marsh. Marsh, glad to have you.
How you doing?
Take it away, sir. I'm doing well. I'm looking forward to this matchup. And here we go.
This should be a good one. Chicago and Midwest. Chicago making their third trip to a tournament final game. Midwest making their first 11. This should be a star-studded and exciting championship game of the Sunset Shootout.
Yeah, I think Chicago's coming in the favorite just because of, past deep runs in tournaments. But this Midwest team, red hot, got a big performance in the semifinal out of Brian Webb, the junior. Comes in off the bench.
Here's a quick take to the paint from Chris Campbell. First points on the board for Chicago. Starting backcourt for Chicago. Campbell and Drake Harvell. It's a steal from Carroll. Inside it goes, 4-0. Carroll starting at the 3 alongside River Rose, and down underneath for Chicago will be Ian Krimmer. Starting 5 here for Chicago, as we said, in their third tournament final game.
2 takeaways now. River Rose ripped that one. Almost a perfect start there. Almost a perfect start for Chicago. Krimmer just couldn't hold on to that one.
Dunk attempt fails away. For the start 5 for Midwest, we've got Lorenzo Robinson and Donald Affetti in the backcourt, Dewan Jenkins and Jabbar Wilson at the forwards, and Shea Winterton inside as the inside attempt falls off. There's the rebound here. I believe that's Carroll bringing it up. Campbell bringing it up, and alley-oop attempt won't fall again. Straight time, Chicago's tried to go to the highlights.
Yeah, well, Chicago's tried to go to the big man, Krimmer. It seems like that's definitely part of the game plan tonight, is to feed him. Krimmer only averages 7 points a game, but shooting 63%, maybe he just needs to get the ball a little bit more.
Inside there to River Rose, extends the lead to 6, and a little bit of a high octane. Looks like someone's probably been watching a little bit too much of Winning Time the last 3 weeks. West with the ball here inside to Winterton. Up and over the top. 2 points. First bucket of the game for Midwest.
Like what I saw there. Strong from the big junior out of Gary, Indiana. Gary Roosevelt High School.
I apologize for the last bucket. That's Jabbar Wilson. But the answer, regardless, from Chris Campbell.
Fooled us both, Marsh.
He did indeed. Is Lorenzo Robinson with the ball. Screen coming from Wilson. And pick the pocket for LeGerald Carroll. The talented 3D rig. At least 2, if not 3. But I mean, he's a talented defender, averaging a steal a game. So that gear really figures to go up.
If anything, Chicago's lead should be bigger. They are playing really well to start this one. Just got to convert some of these, takeaway chances.
Yeah, they've left 3 possessions on the board already. And another steal. This one on the other end comes from River Rose. Up, Campbell won't get that to go. Foul called on Jenkins. Opportunity here. And Elava, this is really for Midwest. Not necessarily a bad start because they can't make their baskets. They can't even get a look at the basket.
Yeah. I mean, that's right. They're just not getting. It's right. It's not that they're taking bad shots. They just can't get a good shot. Meanwhile, Chicago, 3 steals already. Playing some nice defense, playing hard. And in transition, you got to like Chris Campbell coming to the line, 93% free throw shooter.
Chicago, you're also looking at your 3rd title game. This is a group that has struggled some of these games, failing to get it done in both the Stars of Tomorrow Battle and the Bayou. So you can tell immediately there's a little bit more experience playing in for Chicago, a team that understands just how valuable the early start is to the game. Little second attempt So that to go. Up to 10-2 now. And you can see the press early on here from Chicago. Slowing down Midwest in terms of getting the ball up court. But here comes inside Robinson. Cut off by Ian Krimmer, and that is the role that Krimmer plays inside. Just 0.8 blocks per game and a quick bucket on the other end from Harvell, but that defense inside from Krimmer that makes a difference.
10-point lead now. The alarm bells have to be going off if you are Midwest coach J6. Oh, and there is the problem solver. Brian Webb. I love Brian Webb. He went off in the semifinal doing just what you saw there. Draining outside shots and actually playing a nice all-around game too. I like having him in this game if you're a Midwest fan.
Webb 13.9, second on the team in scoring, and it's an interesting approach from head coach J6. The pull-up here calls in for a Fetty, forcing a timeout from Coach Felix Onielu. And despite a slow start from Midwest, as you see there, 43% shooting from the floor, it's just a 5-point deficit despite everything going on. And we will be right back after this. Welcome back to sunny Los Angeles, opening quarter of the Sunset Shootout. Chicago holding on to a 5-point lead, but a 5-0 run. Midwest Select has cut what looked to be an early blowout into a much more competitive affair. And here is the take from Jamal Harper off the bench for Chicago. He leads back up to 7.
Ooh, there's Brian Webb. Oh. Couldn't finish that one, though. But I will say, Marsh, that 5-point run that Midwest went on.
Ooh, goodness gracious.
4 points now coming the other way. But it did come courtesy of Ifedi and Brian Webb. And those two guys aren't necessarily out on the court the whole time. As I mentioned earlier, Webb comes in off the bench. So seeing some adjustments here already that were working, but nice little turnaround by Chicago. Get the momentum back.
You're Coach O, and you're dealing with Brian Webb off the bench. What's your approach? I mean, he's shoot 56%, but only 18% from deep. You saying shoot all you'd like from outside, we're not going to let you get into the paint?
Oh!
My Lord, that's how you do get into the paint, Drew Collins. Yeah. 2 points, lead back to 11.
I might say, that's what I might say exactly, is I want you to worry about Drew Collins. I'll show you something, Brad Webb. Try to take care of this. Oh, boy. Drew Collins. That is one of the most vicious dunks I have seen in this first SimWorld season.
You want to talk about you find momentum, Eric. That's how you do it. You can squash the momentum from a 5-0 run with 2 emphatic jams, one from Jamal Harper, and that one here. Now here, the turnover, coming back the other way.
Nice.
Side and a flashy dunk. I believe, catch the number on that one, but that is extendedly, was that Caden Randolph there, pushing the lead, down to this now. Jamal Harper on the wing.
Nice movement
Top
out there
Stephen
for
Marshall.
Chicago. I like that. Nobody just standing around very much.
So misses inside. He
Oh.
had Drew Collins wide open. Can't get that one to fall. And Webb on the board. There's been
Nice
plenty of
pass, Webb.
inside. See, that was
Coach
Caden
O.
Rudolph.
Coach O, do you have to start thinking about maybe a timeout here or something, actually? This is like what we're seeing here from Midwest. Sticking with this, trying to get back in it, but here's Drew Collins.
Savvy move inside, won't fall. Rebound Rice.
Yeah. Give it to him
Spin
again.
move up
Yeah.
under, won't fall again. Good defense there from Anthony Wilson, the 7-footer who we've seen before, Lava. Not a ton of baskets or blocks per .8 a game, actually .4 a game, but a deterrent inside as West's in a bucket to go. Back down to 5 again, just trying to withstand the runs here.
Yeah, nice little run here at the end by Midwest. They keep it up.
Oh! Turned aside. Collins tried to get that one to go, and another open lane. This time for Brian Webb. He's got, I believe, now 4 off the bench in the lead. Late first quarter, down to 3.
Coach O should have listened to me when I said take that time out at 18-11.
Carter Hines Allen. To screen, pull up 3, won't fall.
Nice.
Rebound
Nice
Collins.
dish.
Collins to Rice for 2, and the lead's back to 5. And I think if you're Chicago, you almost consider this 5-point lead, or excuse me, if you're Midwest, this 5-point deficit almost a victory considering where this was. And the deep 3 won't fall at the buzzer. That will
Almost
end the
got
first
that to
quarter. Chicago stands a late run, builds an 11-point lead at one point. The Midwest rallies back. End of the first, 2015, here in the Sunset Shootout. Welcome back to sunny Los Angeles. Sunset Shootout second quarter underway officially. Chicago holding on to a 5-point lead led by as many as 11 in the first quarter. And this is a group in Chicago that's been here. Their experience is Drew Collins. This is the mid-ranger. How much are you seeing experience play a role having been in games like this, holding this 5-point lead?
I think it definitely makes a difference. I think you see it in the teams that are more senior heavy, which doesn't mean you can't have significant stars. Your Lace Darius Outlaws of the world, and certainly even on these two teams right here, right? Dre Carvel. Oh, right there, Chicago. But Dre Carvel certainly, as well as the emerging Brian Webb, really making a difference on these squads. But yeah, particularly deep in these tournaments, a lot of back-to-back games. That kind of consistency, I think really where you see that really make an impact on the SimWorld High School hoops level.
We are now locked in. Drew Collins, though, breaks the lock. It's now a tie game, or it was. They were both shooting 50%, both 9 of 18. So you see Midwest patience that they've established here so far, Ilava, is really paying off. But it seems as if, maybe to a fault, as Caden Rudolph can't get that one to go, gets the board. Inside to Wilson to reset. We're seeing Drew Collins, despite making his last pass, I think he's now 2 of 6. If you're looking at J6's approach, how are you adjusting that? It seems a lot for a guy that's probably not your premier scorer. Or excuse me, I apologize. Coach Felix Onielu, what are you doing if you're Coach O?
Well, I mean, the thing with having Owen there, he's got the ball again. Collins down low, taking on two men, gonna force it up over the 7-footer, not get it to go. I don't think Coach O wants that. I mean, actually, you know what? I've kind of followed a little bit of a man crush on Drew Collins after tonight. I mean, I want to point out to everybody watching, Drew Collins, yeah, he's solid. He's 240 pounds, obviously strong, but he is only 6'5" down there, battling the likes of, well, Midwest has Anthony Wilson at 7 foot coming in off the bench now. But Bar Wilson, 6'7", 220. Shy Winterton, 6'8". Normally, that's a guy that's going to have a significant size advantage, but hey, we're here talking about him, right? He's impacting the game.
Impact in the game, I think, is positive and negative. If you're 2 of 8, you're negatively impacting the game. Drake Harvell is your number 2 recruit in the class of 2023. Gerald Carroll is the 24th top 25 recruit in the class of 2022. They have combined for 2 shots each. Maybe it's not all as a result of Drew Collins as the miss here from Krimmer goes off. That is a big part of, I think, the close game that we're seeing right now. Is that there's not really a ton of activity going because Collins is dominating the ball when he's in the game. And speaking of Carroll, speaking of Harvell, it's a duo that's not without some drama, despite being something of an elite backcourt. Jackson from Bleacher Report reported earlier this week the news about, as the 3rd attempt won't fall here on this one, the news about Harvell and Carroll getting into a bit of a spat. Harvell pushing Carroll, known for his more James Harden-like approach, not engage as much as they probably want. Thoughts on how that can be, or how can they avoid having that spiral out of control here as the season progresses?
I mean, I think it's tough. I think we were talking about, young kids. And by the way, Midwest has the lead now. So hats off to Coach Six. Getting it done out here, these kids in red. But, I think it's just an extension of what I was talking about, in terms of like having that sort of senior leadership and having that kind of cohesion and consistency there with that. And yeah, young kids, I mean, it's tough enough when you're not an athletically gifted star and you're 16 years old, you're 17 years old. And, there's only so much light we can shine on everybody, right? Gerald Carroll going to the line right now. And I think that's something that, satisfying the egos, getting the minutes, and getting the box scores that everybody wants. That's one of your challenges when you got kids like this.
Sure, Carroll hits the first. He is 92% shooting from the line, so just about a lock here to tie this game up with 4:34 to play in the second. I think you're spot on. I think you're dealing with personalities, but I wonder about the long-term concerns of a 18-year-old whose interests lies off the court, and potentially is he invested in the game of basketball, or is he more invested in what the game of basketball can bring to him in terms of fame, fortune, and attention? That would be, if I want any recruit or any college scout, would be where I'd be most concerned. Bar Wilson to go. We actually will loop in our sideline reporter, Ron Yell. Yells, what have you got on this?
Well, I spent some time with some of the college scouts, if I will. I won't name any names. But a lot of what I'm hearing is what they do like from LaGerald Carroll is his defensive intensity. They say that there's a lot that they see on the offensive end with him being in and out of games. They wonder how much that is contributed to by teammates and coaching. But college scouts seem to enjoy his defensive intensity, and we've seen some of it here. So just wanted to add that color for you guys. Back to you guys.
Krimmer on the offensive glass can't get that to go. And I think the other thing that's worth noting on Carroll is I think it's not only you'd like to see the defensive intensity carry over to the offensive side because he's a 56% shooter from deep. But we just saw 2 or 3 possessions ago where he comes off a down screen, top of the key, wide open 3. No, not wide open in terms of no one's near him, but he doesn't pull the trigger, Ilava. How do you extract that from him at the next level?
Man, that's that's tough, but I think it also depends on the pieces around you, right? And, here on the SimWorld high school level, we don't want to be too critical of these kids. They're kids. But, there's been some talk, to say the kind of quiet part out loud. Chris Campbell, his point guard, is averaging 4.3 assists on the season. Number 3 in white out there, but also shooting just 37%. And as we've even already seen tonight, unafraid to shoot. Just took that missed 3 there, which, say the quiet part out loud, wasn't a great shot. It ended up okay because Krimmer rebounded it, and you got points on the possession. But I think Harvell and Carroll both kind of hurt themselves a little bit sometimes. But then I think it's also tough with some of the pieces around you. Here's another one, not afraid to shoot, although he's been playing better lately. The captain, River Rose. Formerly ranked Mr. Basketball and All-American, kind of dropped off the radar looking for some redemption, but that's kind of the point, right? Looking for some redemption. That doesn't come by not taking shots.
Lorenzo Robinson into the paint, the lead right back up to 2 for Midwest. We're seeing a lot of attack here from Lorenzo Robinson, able to get to the paint pretty much at will on Chris Campbell. Harvell now with the ball up top to Carroll.
Marsh, what I think we got here really is, not a beautiful game of basketball so far, but that probably makes sense. This is a championship game, right? To some degree you come out tight. To some degree your plan might be to grind, to really tune up the defense. So one possession championship basketball. I like it.
I would say as the steal attempt falls off Lorenzo Robinson, his 3rd straight basket. He's got 8, all of them coming in the paint, 6 of them on the last 3 possessions. What we have seen is a calming of the nerves from Midwest. They started off that boring approach, 3 turnovers, 4 turnovers in the first quarter alone. They settled down, they haven't turned the ball over quite as much, and that's translated to a 4-point lead. And Harvell can't do it, but Krimmer can. And that forces a timeout here from J6.
Krimmer has been bailing Chicago out here. Guys taking tough long threes, and Krimmer just eating inside.
We will take this opportunity to take a break of our own, and we'll be back with this word first. Go back to Los Angeles, Sunset Shootout. Late here in the first half, Midwest has turned what was an 11-point deficit in the first quarter into a 2-point lead, as many as 4 here in the second, on the back of Lorenzo Robinson scoring 6 points on the last 3 possessions. Not on the floor here, but it does not matter. The bucket falls. Brian Webb, 9 points off the bench, and you see him right there, +9 already. A big part of how Chicago's lead has disappeared and Midwest has taken their own has been the play of Brian Webb.
And I like him coming off the bench early, getting big time minutes. I mean, he's out there with some of the starters right now. Jabbar Wilson. I don't like that call at all, Marsh. You can see the replay again, but that didn't look good to me.
That is a tough one there on Jabbar Wilson. That will send, I believe, that was Logan Rice, or excuse me, River Rose to the line. And it is
Coach O
Rose,
likes it.
Rose, a 88% shooter here from the free throw line. So again, you're Chicago. A lot of this inability to build a lead has come from their fouling of guys like River Rose, like Gerald Carroll, who are just very good free throw shooters, and we're seeing right there 7 of 7 from the free throw line. What's the approach here if you're both sides, Ilava? How do you close the final one?
Well, I think for Midwest, you want to hang on to and as much as possible, and they kind of break right there with that free throw not going in from River Rose. You can do those all day. But you got time. I think you just kind of continue what you've been doing here. You've been running your offense successfully. For all of the second quarter, really. This was an 11-point deficit at one point that they've turned around now. So I think if you can go into the locker room, 5-point, 7-point lead, that has to be your goal here. But that ain't gonna help.
The steal outlet to Harper for 2, and that's the second time Harper has risen to the rim. 1-point game here, 40 seconds to play. We'll see if Midwest goes for the and.
Oh,
2-for-1.
lazy.
They will indeed, as Anthony Wilson drops it home. Should have an opportunity to build on what's currently a 3-point lead. We'll see where that stands after the Chicago possession.
Great play there by Midwest. Love what they did there. And, my first instinct was to fault, nice bucket, River Rose, by the way, was to fault Drew Collins. But that's that one instance where I'm talking about. He's going up 7 inches as well to Anthony Wilson. If he can get on his back like that. Oh, and nice steal.
It's Carter on the 3. Can't get it to go with 8 seconds to play in the first half. You like the aggression, but the need for it wasn't there. As we get another look at this Jabbar Wilson block on Drew Collins, is stifled the undersized big man inside. Jabbar Wilson has a very talented interior threat.
Channeling his namesake here in Los Angeles. We're close to UCLA. We're close to the Forum.
Steve Morrison checks out, and Nelson for 3 at the buzzer won't fall, and that will take us to the break. Midwest Select has rallied back from an 11-point first quarter deficit on the back of Brian Webb and Lorenzo Robinson. Take a 1-point lead to halftime of the Sunset Shootout. They're looking for their first ever game. Eric, what are your thoughts after the first half?
I love it. This is what I wanted. This is what I expected. I'm happy. We got championship basketball going on out here. Again, nobody's putting on a clinic. It's not necessarily like it's highlight after highlight. Not that we haven't seen some good plays, certainly say that. But, tough grinding game. This is what I thought these two teams would come out and do tonight. There's a lot on the line. I like what I see. Roniel,
hey,
how about you, sir?
Number one, Marsh's suit. That is mean, sir. But it's not as mean as Chicago's defense. I think that's what I'm liking to see. I know the game hasn't been blown wide open by either team, but the defensive intensity and the pressure they've been putting on Midwest, them not being able to flow and bring the ball up the court and get out on the break, I think it's had a great impact already.
6 steals for Chicago in the opening frame. That did lead to, as we mentioned, that 11-point lead at halftime. We will be back here with the second half Sunset Shootout in Los Angeles.
I like your little dance, yeah.
of the Sunset Shootout underway now in Los Angeles. Chicago trailing Midwest Select 36-35. Chicago, as we've mentioned here, this is their third tournament title game. If they lose this game, what does that mean for the rest of the season for Chicago?
I think it's a big deal. I think it's a real thing. I think it's affecting Oakland right now. We've already lost 3 tournaments. You know, it's a record that Chicago could equal if they can't pull this one out.
The block here from Jabbar Wilson on Chris Campbell. I would tend to agree here with you as Winterton put that on his head. A 3-point lead for Midwest. Chris Campbell embarrassed on one end, and the embarrassment continues on the other as Carroll, the 3, can't get it to fall. Rebound Winterton. But I think here's I know we're close to winning time. We're seeing, if you've been watching the HBO special on the Lakers and the Rise of the Dynasty, first name and the first group that came to my mind was Chicago. When we look at them having been out of 3, the alley-oop goes, pushing the game lead to a game-high 5 for Midwest. Reminds me of the Terry West Lakers, which they get here, but they just keep.
Yep. Nope. It's a mountain to climb when you have to do it. I mean, you know, we saw the big deal it's been in other sports, like with the Chicago Cubs and the Boston Red Sox, you know, or the fact that, you know, some other clubs still kind of have it, and it's such a big deal for them, like the Buffalo Bills. You know, you'll always be haunted by that. And I think there's also something particularly about, well, the Bills lost 4 times, Minnesota Vikings lost 4 times in the Super Bowl. That sort of seems to be the magic number. If anybody got to 4, that is like truly a cursed level of snake-bitten losing. Marv Levy will always be remembered, not as a great football coach, but as the guy who lost 4 Super Bowls. You don't want that on your tombstone.
Buffalo
and by the way, Marv Levy is still alive, late into his 90s, I believe.
But you're saying there's still a chance he could get a Super Bowl championship, is what I'm
hearing. I would love to see it happen.
That is what I'm hearing. So the lead here now up to 5 for Midwest Select, and it's been a much different game than we saw in the first quarter, where Chicago jumped out to that 12-2 lead. They pushed it up to 18-7 at one point. That version of Chicago is gone, and I think the version that we saw was a hounding defense. We have not seen a lot of Drake Harvell, who's 20.2 points, top 10 in SimWorld, the number 2 recruit in the class of 2023. He has just not had it. He's just trying to go to work here, gets it to go.
Work that around Donald Effetti, too.
Name we'd like to see a little bit more from Gerald Carroll. You know, he is a talented 3-point shooter, shooting above 50% from deep. Have to find ways to get him involved in the system. Is that right, Eric?
Oh, I'd say so for sure. You know, and I think with what Chicago we're seeing out there is that they're a little bit of a system team in a way. And what Midwest has been able to throw at them tonight, and credit them, I think some of the changes made. I think one important change at about that 18-7 point was when Brian Webb got into the game and changed some of that dynamic there. I'm a big Brian Webb fan. Oh boy.
Down goes Chris.
Well, that'll switch your momentum around a little bit there too.
Primer on the board off the missed jumper from Effetti. Effetti had put Campbell on his rear. This is Carroll for 3. Finally gets it to go under 5 minutes, and we have a tie ball game again. And I'm wondering here, with Chicago having been in some close championship games, it's not as if they walked in, they got beat by 20. As Harvell with the steal going the other way, opportunity to take the lead. Hot though from behind.
Nice defense from Midwest. They got guys back down
Rose there. Block the other end for Midwest.
Credit that defense, Midwest, right there. Could have been an easy 2, but they hustled back.
Renzo Robinson with the ball up top. Ball screen. Inside foul called here on Carroll. That's going to send Donald Effetti to the line. 40% 3-point shooter. Didn't take the pull the trigger for the leading scorer for Midwest Select. 75% shooter from the free throw line.
Effetti didn't come into the season with a reputation of having an outside shot, really. So he must have worked on it in the offseason, because he is shooting better, filling it up from 3. but still really primarily known for what you just saw there, which is using that 6'4", 210 athletic frame to cut to the basket, get offensive rebounds, get inside shots, and mid-range jumpers.
Shift change here. We'll get 4 new players out on the court for Chicago. Drake Carvel, the lone remaining, and now you've got to share the court with Drew Collins. If you're Drake Carvel, Drew Collins, who has, you could argue, has been the best defense for Midwest Select, in which he's gone, I think, 2 of 8.
Hey, I got to stick up. Hold on. I got to stick up for Drew Collins here. He's done some other nice things, too. I remember a particularly nice assist he had in the first half. It was lovely. No, but Drew Collins, undersized big man, definitely his hands full tonight. Maybe not his best night, but working hard out there.
Go
get yours, Drew.
Defense from Scoochie Nelson.
Oh, who's that man?
3 from Webb won't fall, but Ifedi can't get it to go. Logan Rice now on the board. The other way, Carter Hines Allen, I beg your pardon. Inside to Jamal Harper. Harper having a heck of a game. 8 points now, all of them coming at the rim, a pair of emphatic dunks, and just like that, a 5-point deficit flipped back the other way. Chicago now, Elava, with a chance to take the lead.
Yeah, I love it. Jamal Harper, junior out of Chicago. You know, he scores. He averages 6.4 a game. You know, he's an important contributor on this team. I've covered some games of his in the past where he's been a key guy, played some big minutes coming off the bench. So, earned that 3-point attempt there. I'm glad he put it in.
You do have to wonder with a guy like Harper, who's playing next to Harvell, playing next to Campbell, playing next to Gerald Carroll. Now, how big of a difference does he have if he's on a group that doesn't have so many guys that take so many shots? And he certainly has a foul called on Logan Rice, is going to send Ifedi to the line. You wonder if he wasn't in the same class or same team, especially if Campbell and Harvell, to shoot-happy guards, how much of a difference or how much more prominence does he have in the national landscape?
Well, the good news for Jamal is that, you know, he's just 16 years old. He's just a junior. So he's coming back next year, and there are, 7 seniors on this Chicago Stars team. So there's a lot of minutes, a lot of shots, a lot of everything opening up. And at his 6'4" size, you know, I could see him taking the Gerald Carroll spot next year. You know, he's not even that much smaller than River Rose. And for all we know, Jamal still might have a little bit of growing left to do in him. A lot of kids do at that age. So, I think the future is bright for Jamal Harper.
Bring him back in, and speaking of big men, is Ian Krimmer, 6'11" center for Chicago. Pulls in the board right on cue, as you like to predict. They're going with a 2 big front court here for Chicago. Krimmer, and there's a steal. Scoochie Nelson heading the other way. Cut off there from Harper. Bring Carter Hines Allen on the defensive stop there. The other way. Here comes Ifedi,
nice
right
play.
to the paint, to the rim. Midwest Select back up 2. Late here in the 3rd quarter.
You talked about earlier, Marsh. Ifedi shooting 40% from outside too, from 3 coming into this game. If he really can start to do that, combined with what he's shown you tonight with the drive. Whew.
Scoochie Nelson, a 2nd straight steal, this time at the hands of Carter Hines Allen. Inside, can't get that one to go. Rebound Harper, and I have to say, you look at on that last possession, there was a little bit of a lack of burst from Carter Hines Allen as he had the rim, he had an open lane, and still got cut off. Something you want to see from one of your wings, but here's the Anthony Simon spin and slam! Jamal Harper!
Double digits with authority. Woo!
We came into tonight, Elava, thinking that Brian Webb would be the premier man off the bench, and we have been proven wrong. Jamal Harper, 11 points, leading Chicago back to a tie ball game. We will be back for the close of the 3rd after this. back here to the Sunset Shootout final. Chicago and Midwest locked in a what's looking to be potential classic here in Los Angeles.
I love it. This has been a great tournament and it deserved a great final, and I think we're getting one here today.
Caden Rudolph on the take. Can't get that one to go. Rebound Winterton. Winterton can't get to go, but he will be fouled by Krimmer, sending the junior big out of Indiana to the line. Winterton now with 8 boards, just 2 points to show for it, but blocks, steal, as we've talked about, filling it up.
Yeah, he's playing all right tonight. He does everything but score, which, you know, normally on the season, he's at least got 7.4 on the season, shooting 58% from the field.
Very Indiana native. Looking at potentially in-state potential calling for him next year would be Purdue. And let me just tell you one thing. I have made the trek from Purdue, which is West Lafayette, north in Indiana. It is not the most glorious place to be. Let me just say that as politely as I possibly can.
Nope, I understand it. And as a Indiana Hoosiers fan myself, to give my allegiances away, I endorse that take, actually, beyond even agreeing with it. But I will say that it would not surprise me to see Shia Winterton, a product of Gary Roosevelt High School, go the same way that Glenn Big Dog Robinson did from there, and end up at Purdue.
One thing that I will give Indiana State, as Krimmer operates inside, up and under, gets it to go. We're back to a tie game at 49. I will give them credit that their roads, they do not have street names necessarily, but every road is just a number. So it's like 1,000, and then it's 1,100, and then it's 1,200. So you just can't get lost in Indiana.
Like Manhattan on a giant scale. Yeah.
Exactly. That is, I think there's just no better comparison for the state of Indiana as a whole than Manhattan. You know, they just elicit thoughts of one another. Besides the Krimmer of Fetty Facts.
Actually, to give the state of Indiana credit, and a handful of these Midwest and Chicago kids hail from the state, it's definitely a historic basketball hotbed. Najee Jordan, perhaps the current biggest star from the state of Indiana in the SimWorld High School ranks. And look who you got on the line now, Marsh. I really, you know, I was just thinking to myself a moment ago, I swear when I called my first Chicago game just a few months ago that Ian Krimmer had no post moves and no post game to speak of. And he's out here, you know, do a nice little, you know, dropping his shoulder, taking on guys, spin and turn, scoring right over them. I love what I'm seeing from Ian Krimmer.
Certainly developed. 33 ranked recruit in the senior class. 10 boards a game, 7 points at 63%. So not only is he scoring well inside, but he's scoring efficiently. Not so efficiently from the free throw line as he misses a pair. 80% shooter from the line coming in, but misses a pair with an opportunity to tie it. As into the game comes Campbell for the hoop. It falls.
Make it painful on the other end. 4-point swing right there.
Anthony Wilson with the bucket. Here is, though, Jamal Harper, the man that is keeping them afloat for Chicago. 13 points now on the bench, more than double his season average.
Didn't I say that at the start of the game, that Jamal Harper was going to dominate tonight? Wasn't that my first game note? Didn't I say that?
Well, we'll review the tapes on that one.
Okay, that's fair.
From Scoochie Nelson going to head back the other way. Here is the block earlier, more of a rim block than anything from Winterton.
No, he got it with a fingertip, just coming back down. It was weird, though. Yeah, he didn't get it at the apex of the jump, but did show enough control to get it. Shia Winterton.
7 blocks a game for the Gary Indiana, as we mentioned, native. Here is Chris Campbell bringing it up. Under 35 seconds to play here, an opportunity for an and one or 2-for-1 quickly evaporates, and he has the open look inside to Harper.
Yeah.
To get that one to go. Instead, it's going outside. He's going to have to heist up.
He's going to shoot that.
Campbell falls at the shot clock buzzer in Chicago. Back up by 1 here late in the third.
Chris Campbell only hitting 21% on threes coming into this game, but just hit a big one there.
Clock under 10. For a screen up top. To the left, there's Brian Webb at the buzzer, won't fall. And that's going to do it for 3 quarters of action. Chicago rallies back thanks to 13 points off the bench from Jamal Harper. And it is a 54-53 Chicago lead with 8 minutes left to decide the champion, the Sunset Shootout.
It's going to be a great finish.
We are 24 minutes down, 8 minutes to go. Sunset Shootout final. Chicago looking for their first win of a tournament here in the SimWorld High School Hoop season. Currently 0 for 2. Midwest Select trying to spoil that. What are you looking for? 8 minutes to play. What's going to decide this game?
I'll tell you one thing. I'm not looking for Jabbar Wilson to have to bring the ball up against pressure like that anymore. I didn't like that at all. That was not good, but I like how he finishes it here.
What are you talking about? It's a modern-day Magic Johnson. I will hear nothing else.
In spite of the name of the other Laker, but yes.
Well, anyway, 8 minutes to play. It's now 7.5. What are you looking for? What's deciding this game? Is River Rose is out on a favorite?
I think this game has been defined by defense, and it's going to be decided by defense. And nice play right there. That's the other thing it might be decided by is nice individual effort. You know, does somebody rise up? It's been a quiet night for Drake Carvel. It's been a real quiet night for Gerald Carroll. You know, even Brian Webb has struggled recently. Donald Fetty hasn't blown up. Somebody has a chance to with this remaining 7 minutes, and maybe somebody's going to need to walk out of here with a trophy.
Carroll was trying to get free on Rock Hall screen. Doesn't happen. Here's Campbell. Mid-range jumper runs around and falls. Lead back down to 1. And Chris Campbell, 13 points on a effective 50% shooting for a guy that typically averages 7.5,
Yeah.
7%.
Yeah, that was a very effective emphasis on the effective, Marsh. Because, right, Chris Campbell is actually, you know, not afraid to shoot it, but had not shown that, you know, any efficiency at all before tonight, really, coming into this game. But I love what he's doing here. He might be battling for MVP status.
Carroll misses the deep 2. Headed the other way is Brian Webb, who scored 4 quick points. This is Lorenzo
Dish.
Rock.
Nice dish.
They game-high 6-point lead. 6 minutes to play for Midwest, and if you are Chicago, the flashbacks have to be coming as Felix Onayelu takes a timeout. His team reeling. Carvel on the bench. A slow night, and yet they cannot get this thing done right now.
I'll tell you what, somewhere Oakland head coach Brian Lovelace may be rubbing his hands right now because he may want somebody else to join him in that 0-3 championship club. It's lonely by yourself to have that belt. You want to share that title with somebody if you have to have it at all, right? I want to divest myself in shares of the unable to win the title in three tries club. So I think I know who Oakland and Oakland fans are rooting for tonight. I think a lot of people came in tonight thinking that Chicago was the favorite in this game, but Midwest, big night.
We have Ron Yell on the sideline. What are you hearing here? Under 6 to play, championship game.
Yeah, I wish I had more insightful information. What I had today was what you were mentioning Ian Krimmer earlier. Notable point here is that Ian Krimmer came into this season, or prior to this season, at only 6'3", experienced an 8-foot growth spurt to start this year. I'm sorry, it's 8 inch. My apologies. 8-inch growth spurt. Yeah,
No wonder he dominates.
yeah, no beanstalk. So no magic beans, but I think maybe he's still growing into that body, and we're getting to watch that process live.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thanks for that, Yells. And just think of Anthony Davis, same thing, right? Grew up from 6'4" to 7'1" in his big growth spurt. So makes a lot of sense.
as Campbell misses the lead up to 8. A 3 from Lorenzo Robinson will fall.
Really needed that.
They to make that 11.
Not a terrible shot. Lorenzo only makes 27% from outside, though.
Inside. And Krimmer on the paint. He's got 8.7 boards that lead back down to 6. And that was as big of a bucket as you're going to get for Chicago. Headed the other way is Lorenzo Robinson. Trying to free himself up off ball. Gets a screen here from Wilson. Mid-range shot. All in for Robinson, who's got, I believe, 15 points, a game high, which is exactly what we expected, right? When we saw Drake Harvell, the number 2 recruit in the nation for the 2023 class, who's been dead quiet, outplayed by some unranked underclass.
Well, there, Lagerald Carroll able to shake free, however. Gets an important 2 buckets for an important bucket, 2 points for Chicago right there. Chicago's hanging in this, but man, Midwest looks kind of comfortable, more comfortable than a 6-point lead should be, I think, Marsh.
Absolutely, as Coach J6 takes a timeout here with 4:05 to play. We will take a timeout of ourselves. We'll be back for the close of the Sunset Shoot.
Boy.
You have been treated to a dandy. We have 4 minutes left here in the Sunset Shootout. Brought to you here by Powerade. We'll have a 4:04 to play. What are you doing if you're Chicago? How do you get back a game that you at one point led by 11?
Well, you can't give up second chances like that right there. That's the big thing. And every possession counts at this point. We're under, 4 minutes now, fourth quarter, crunch time, tight game. But you got to get stops. I mean, it's just simple. There's nothing scientific to this, and this isn't a great shot either. I love River Rose, and he nailed that. But I got to say, I don't know if that is the winning formula to get back, is to, take tough shots like this, and then at the other end, could have been an and one right there.
There's 2 things that we're seeing right now out of Chicago on both ends. River Rose has taken, I think, 3 or 4 of those fadeaways. That's the first one he's made. The second one, so that's hurt their offense. The second one is Lorenzo Robinson, whenever he would like, he is getting into the paint on Chris Campbell. That's why he's leading the game. He's scoring, I believe he's at 16 now. He had a massive 3 just minutes ago when it was 62-59 to make the 6-point lead for Midwest. That has been the difference here in this fourth quarter. It's the emergence of Lorenzo Robinson, and it is the absolute disappearance of Drake Harvell, who, coming into tonight, was averaging 21.5 points in title games in 2 appearances on 51% shooting. He's under 6 as Lagerald Carroll bottoms a much-needed 3 to cut the lead to 5.
Hey, I have seen Lagerald Carroll do some magical things in a short amount of time. I'm not saying this is over for Chicago, but they definitely need a lot more of that. And that, by the way, was a nicely run play. Got a great look there from Lagerald. Does what that man does, shooting well over 50% from 3 for a reason.
Sad Robinson working on Chris Campbell, up and in. Showing off the post move from the guard position. He's got a game-high 19, 9 of them coming here in the fourth quarter. And real quick, before we get into the crunchiest of crunch times, don't forget to join us for the second game of our doubleheader in Barcelona as Drake Harvell attacks the rim for 2. We'll get World West and North America Select.
Yep. That should be a good one. I've seen both of those teams, and I think this might be your first time in Barcelona to call a game, Marsh. So,
It is taking the
oh, you're going to love it. You're going to love Oscar Schmidt Tribute Stadium, and hopefully we get a game as good as this one.
Look forward to it as Jabbar Wilson just dominantly oversizing Drake Carvel, 10 points, all of them coming in the paint. The lead is 7, and this is where your Chicago, your ghost, your demons, your fears of the last 2 title games are coming back as Campbell drives, gets it to go.
You are 2 minutes from having that albatross around your neck. Can't win the big one.
Need of a stop. You almost need a perfect sequence for 2 minutes here for Chicago, and that is not the start of it. As a take dip and go, Lorenzo Robinson.
Wow. That's all you can say about that. I thought that was going to turn out great for Chicago. Instead, Lorenzo Robinson. Individual effort.
Quick 2 from Campbell, padding his stats to 17. Now the defensive approach, if you're Chicago, has to be get the ball out of Lorenzo Robinson's hands. He's dominating you, and Fetty draws 2 on Rose. Opportunity, if this gets to 8, Lava, is it game? We get this lead to, I apologize, 7 points with a minute and a half.
No, because I don't think Chicago's out of this. Certainly not with 90 seconds. Plenty of time left on the clock. When you have LaGerald Carroll out on the floor, and they do. Look for number 5 out there in white, because you give him a little bit of room to breathe, and now he's in a position where he has to take the shot. There's no passing the ball off now. You quick offense coming up here the other way. You can trade 3 for 2 for a little bit, or hopefully you still got time even to get a stop. You don't have to start fouling yet. So I don't think Chicago's out of this, but they definitely got a mountain to climb. Especially with a Fetty at the line, solid free throw shooter.
He hits the first, pushes the lead to 6, 129 to play. Second one up and in, 7-point lead. We said 90 seconds, 89 to play. It's Campbell, pounded by Lorenzo Robinson. Across the equator, trying to get inside. Arbel.
That's on Carroll.
Face. Can take the shot. Now here's the screen coming from Carroll. Arbel
nice.
through the lane easily. I like the guard wing pick and roll approach, but you're in need of a little bit more. Harvell just 8 points, 20.2 per game on the season. He has been held in check. Basket here. Both steals.
Got to get a stop here. Got to get a stop here. Just critical.
Eddie working through. Jabbar work from 3. Pocket one.
All right.
Board. Through a minute to play. 5-point game. Ball to Campbell. Campbell. To Carroll. Yes! Go! 37.9, a 2-point game.
One possession. This is championship basketball. I love it.
Eddie working on Harvell. Lorenzo Robinson open. 3. Quick, get it to go. Crimmer the board. To Harvell.
Big boards. Crimmer too.
Drive it to the paint. Pull up. Get it to 4. What's he doing? Foul on River Rose. Why is he pulling up, Eric?
I can't answer that question. That was not necessary. 2-point ball game. You have ball in hand. You didn't have to rush that shot. Had a defender right there on you.
Of all the moments, as we talked about earlier in this game, the lead up to this was LaGerald Carroll getting an earful in practice, an altercation last week with Drake Harvell. Harvell pleading for Carroll to do more in big games. Carroll just hit a massive 3 2 possessions ago. Harvell makes an inexplicable pull-up with the defender behind him and a pair of Fetty free throws. It's a 4-point game, and you almost need a miracle if you're Chicago to avoid going to 0-3 in championship games. Eric, this is a disastrous.
Well, and we can only speculate, but you just laid out a pretty good case that this may be emblematic of the Drake Harvell, LaGerald Carroll relationship. Harvell not taking a great shot there and not doing it at a great time, but looking to kind of make sure that he responds to Carroll's performance and is an equal out there too. Tough thing to say about a kid like Drake Harvell, I mean, obviously, second ranked in the junior class, and immense talent. But
let's be honest here. These games, they will not impact legacies of guys like Drake Carvel. You would expect to see at the next level. They will not impact the legacies of guys like Gerald Carroll, whose skill set makes this game that he will be at the next level. But there has to be some semblance in the back of their minds as they move along their professional career. They just have not been able to get it done in games that matter. And will the head scout for the Oklahoma City Thunder care? No. But these two,
no. But they care. But they care. And these kids cared, and they showed it tonight. That's why you got a game like this.
Bell, the three. To go. We're not quite done yet. 80-79. 15 seconds to play. Chicago down just one. Are we going to get a miraculous finish again? If Betty fouled by Harvell, he'll go to the line and keep it to 9. If Betty made his last 4 free throws. He's 75% free throw shooter. The numbers say he's likely to miss one of these two. The door open.
All right. Oh, we'll see if there's a Marsh curse. Whenever I try to do this, it doesn't work. So we'll see how it goes for you.
I'm an analytical man, Elava. This one from Betty.
Okay.
Point
Good
lead.
chance. Well, look, Chicago can still tie this up, and they have a timeout in their pocket. No matter what happens with this shot.
Oh, it's 6 straight. If Betty putting the team on his back when they needed it most. But because of the three from Harvell, there's still an opportunity for Chicago with 13.1 to play. We'll be back for the final close of a dramatic sunset shootout. Welcome back to the final 13 seconds of the sunset shootout. Chicago, a Drake Carvel 3 put them within 1 before a pair of Donald Freddie free throws puts us at a 3-point game. Opportunity to force overtime. Inbound to Campbell. Campbell, 3! We get it to go. Krimmer the board. Out to Campbell again. And the power comes, and that will all but do it. Chris Campbell misses a pair of threes.
They got 2 great looks. They just didn't get the guy who should have been there to take those shots. No disrespect to Chris Campbell, but you came into tonight shooting 21% from behind the 3-point line, and that number might be south of the Mendoza line come after this one.
Drake Carvel is shooting as the first free throw from Winterton. You'll feel it. Drake Carvel is shooting 48% from deep from deep. He just made the 3 just moments ago. Gerald Carroll shooting 56% from deep. He made a 3 just moments ago. The second one misses. So will just be an accounting error. The man with Chris Campbell, who put through game-tying shot twice. Neither time would it fall. And Chicago, for a third time, has made it to the summit of the mountain, only to stumble, trip, and fall back again. Their third loss in a tournament title game. This one at the hands of Lorenzo Robinson. Scores 21 to lead Midwest Select and head coach Jay Sticks to their first title of the season.